Oh my gosh, hi guys, how's it going? I did not expect you to be here right now. I'm just finishing up some last minute work before heading off for the weekend. Let me just get this off of the screen. Please don't tell anybody you saw this. Let's just act like, let's just move on from that, okay? So I just wanted to share some tips I have for what you do when you hate your job. Maybe it's from experience, maybe it's not, it is. But I just want to share with you guys what I think is helpful. So let's get straight into it. And again, if anybody from my job finds this, I love my job so much. This is for the people who don't, okay? So first and foremost, I just want to put it out there. Number one thing, do not quit your job. Even though you might be thinking about that, like from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, all the time you're thinking about, oh, I can't wait till I put my 2 weeks in. Oh, I can't wait till I get a new role. Especially when something goes wrong in your job, you're like, I can't take this anymore, I'm ready to walk away. But it will hurt you so much more in the long run than it helps you in the short run. And speaking from the experience, I'm a professional recruiter. It is so much harder to sell in a candidate who has been out of the market for some time. And even if that short period of time is like 3 months, that 3-month gap compared to my other candidate who is currently in a role or who is just rolling off a previous role, they really don't compare, because a company wants to know that you're ready to jump right in. There's no gearing you back up, getting you back comfortable with a heavy workload. They're expecting someone who just came off a role to be ready to hit the ground running. Someone who's taking a little break, they're a little bit more skeptical, and it's a lot harder to sell that candidate in. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. Resisting the urge to quit is tough. It means you need to be resilient, and it means you have to keep going through the things that you're going through at your job. It's so much more helpful in the long run. And the reality is, like, nobody wants someone who's unwanted. It's so much better when you can say like, yeah, I'm coming from this job and I have this opportunity in front of me and this opportunity in front of me. What's your offer? It gives you so much more leverage than someone who looks desperate. Not that you're desperate or that you would be desperate, but when you see somebody who has such a gap in their resume, that's what they're assuming. You're assuming, oh, this person really needs a job. Let's see what we can do with them. Let's see if we can sneak anything past them. Just remember, like, having a job makes it 10 times more easy to find a job. Number one, don't quit, push through. And here's some tips to do so. The next thing I encourage you to do is to really take some time to sit down and ask yourself, why do I hate this role? What is it that's actually making me unhappy in this position? Is it my boss? Okay, it's my boss. What about my boss? What about their management style? What about their expectations? Because you need to know what's going awry so that you can avoid this in the future. Like, you don't want to keep hopping around from place to place and not being able to have a good work environment. When you're unhappy at your job, you're probably disengaged with your boss, and most likely you're gonna stay exactly where you are. You want to know what you shouldn't be looking for. So, and your boss, whether that's the role you're in, whether that's the industry, I encourage that to be a part of your job search. Hey, it didn't work for me being fully remote. I need to be in the office because I didn't feel any support from my peers. I couldn't ask anybody questions, and I think it'll be helpful for me to be in the office. Okay, prioritize that in your job search. Figure it out. Oh, don't just take the first opportunity where you're still gonna have the same issues. Figure out the root of the issue so that you can be more prepared moving forward. And I know this is a tough one, okay? It is a tough one. But next, I would encourage you to put your best foot forward. Just because you're unhappy, that doesn't mean you should slack off in the workplace and give them any reason to say that, you know, you're not doing a good job, any reason to want to come to the firing conclusion. You want to just stay on top, stay on point, make them want you. It makes it so much sweeter. It makes it that much sweeter when walking away. It also just keeps them off your back. Like, if you're already stressed out, you're already going through it, you don't want them to approach you putting more pressure on you because of your performance, when your performance is something that you can control most of the time. Sometimes you don't have the resources to do so, and that's an issue. But to the best of your abilities, I would just say put your best foot forward. Right now, there's this huge conversation about silently quitting jobs and things like that. Essentially, it just means like doing the bare minimum during your job and getting out the door. And I don't really have a problem with that. It's just like, don't be too bare on the minimum. Don't be too bare on the minimum. As much as possible, because as much as possible, you want to leave with a good impression, because like I said, a recruiter like me, I'm gonna say, oh, who was your previous manager? Can I use them as a reference? Like, I want to know. When I am putting a candidate into a new position, putting them in front of a hiring manager, I want to know that they had some good experience in the past with their bosses, with their supervisors, and that their supervisors can speak to working with them. A bit hesitant when I'm in a situation where you don't want me to speak to your boss. That's odd to me. That's strange. And maybe the other candidate doesn't have that issue. I talked to 3 of their previous bosses. Everybody said they had a good experience working with them, and I'm more likely to push that candidate forward than someone who I can't speak to their bosses. Always want to leave with a good impression, and you don't want to let your personal feelings affect your performance. So I would encourage you, I know it's really tough and sometimes it's really difficult to keep pushing forward, but it's going to help you so much more in the long run. It's always best to think about the future 2 years from now when somebody's asking for that manager's reference. You want to be able to do that. Put your best foot forward. Don't try to attention to yourself, and it'll be so much better for you, I promise. So something really important with coping with a stressful work environment, somewhere you're not, you know, super happy, is making sure you set those boundaries that they can know what to expect from you and what not to expect from you. So if you're strictly saying like, yeah, when I clock out of work, I clock out of work, there's no more working, let them know that on the front end. Like, hey guys, after 5 p.m. I probably won't be accessible, so if there's anything urgent, feel free to give me a call, but if there's anything that I can take care of later, shoot me an email and I'll get back to it as soon as we log back into work. And you might think that may affect, you know, how people see you in the workplace, but honestly, it makes you seem like such a confident, respectable person that you have those boundaries and you won't allow anyone to step over those. So I really encourage you, set boundaries and always hold people accountable to those. And ultimately, it really comes down to you. It comes down to your mental health and what's gonna protect your sanity. And those boundaries being put in place is a huge step in that. I really encourage you to do so, especially for jobs that are really overbearing and they take a lot out of you. Make sure you're setting those boundaries. You're protecting yourself, because you come first. The next thing I encourage you to do is really difficult, but find somebody you can confide in. Find a partner in crime at work. It's so much better having someone that you can vent to, somebody that you can talk to, someone who gets it without you having to even say much, because they're a part of it. But you have to be careful with vetting this person out. You can't just go around telling people how much you hate the job, etc. And don't give them too much first. Ease into this general relationship of support, of being there for one another. Do not tell all of your business right away, but as that trust grows, there can be a beautiful relationship that you're building with this person that can really support you in the role. So you two can be a support for each other. Again, we're prioritizing ourselves, we're prioritizing keeping our sanity, and sometimes that just comes with having someone to talk to, someone that gets it, because sometimes it can feel like you're crazy. Like, am I really crazy? Like, is everybody not seeing what's going on? Like, am I the only one that knows that something's wrong with this? You're not. So finding that other person can be so helpful and make you so much more grounded in the workplace. And my final tactic with coping with a job that you hate is to simply become someone else. Okay, try to separate yourself, who you are and who you are at work. Separate those people and it can become so much better for you. So they're 2 separate entities and it really helps. So for instance, Amber the recruiter is pumped to go to work. She is excited. She's so talkative with her co-workers. She's likable. Management really enjoys working with her and she gets the job done no matter what. She has a smile on her face and people cannot see what's going on within her. Her goal is to get her job done and do it well. Amber at home does not want to step foot in the office. She doesn't want to associate with her co-workers. She wants to do the bare minimum so that she can just get in, get out, get paid, and be done. She doesn't care to kiss ass. She's not looking for a promotion. She's just there until she can get out. And Amber at home is not going to be successful in the workplace. But Amber in the workplace, I try to separate who these people are. They just have 2 separate goals in mind. And it just keeps you from like going downhill. Because sometimes when you figure out that you don't like a job, that you're hating it, you just slowly go downhill because things just slowly start to change and people notice. But if you remember, like, no, I might be feeling those type of way, but Amber at work is gonna get it done. And it's not about being fake, it's just about doing what you need to do to cope with the situation that you're in and to just be a successful, happy you as much as you possibly can. We come to the end of this video. I really hope it's helpful for you. And remember, putting yourself first is not only for the present, it's putting yourself first for the future as well. So think ahead, think about what you need to do to get yourself out of the situation. But I hope these tips are helpful while you're currently in it. But it's about how you deal with the situation that's either gonna help or hurt you in the future. And in general, I think there's like this sentiment going around right now that we don't want to work, like millennials don't want to work, Gen Zers don't want to work. At the end of the day, it's not about working, it's about what the work is. Like Kim Kardashian, oh, nobody wants to work these days. Baby, do you even know the work that we're doing? Do you know how much work we're putting into this? And it's not like we get the $1 million contract. Usually we're getting paid less than we deserve. We're doing more than is necessary, more than we signed up for. And that's just not the vibe anymore. People are really detaching from these types of work environments. And that's really what it comes down to. It's about ourselves. It's about what makes me happy, what's gonna keep me motivated. I don't know, I just think the whole sentiment about people not wanting to work anymore is completely false. People are changing how they want to work, and again, setting those boundaries and putting themselves first, which is important. And I think that it's amazing. And if you're not happy somewhere, go somewhere else. But like I said, stay where you at for now and find that place, but always keep it moving. Okay guys, I hope this is helpful for you. Feel free to comment any questions down below. Feel free to drop any tips you have for people who are going through the same situation, anything at all. Also, do you think people don't want to work these days? Let me know. I want to know how y'all feel about it too. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have not done so already, please like, comment, subscribe. So thank you so much, and talk to y'all later. Bye.